Hey there, superstar. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to monetize your passion without selling your soul in the process. Let's go. So here's the thing. You only live once. And this is really important because what you do for a living, your career, your job, your business, is going to take up a huge amount of your time. Wouldn't you prefer to spend all that time doing something you absolutely love instead of something that you absolutely hate or even mildly dislike? I sure would. So in this video, what I'm going to do is talk about how to monetize your magic. Now, I use that term very carefully. I use it intentionally because there's a big difference between monetizing your magic versus monetizing your time or your effort. Monetizing your time or your effort often leads to a situation or a life in which you're grinding, you're hustling, you're working, and then you have to take a vacation from the work that you're doing because you're so exhausted from muscling through. But monetizing your magic is more effortless, more graceful, easier. What I mean by monetizing your magic is finding a way to align what you do with who you really are. So I'm going to walk you through the 7 steps of monetizing your magic, and to do it in a way that allows you to build your own business on your terms so that you can live your lifestyle and do exactly what you want to do. Now, this is the transformation that I went through myself. So I am speaking from personal experience. I spent the first 13 years of my career doing what I thought I should do, doing what everyone else told me to do, what my parents encouraged me to do, doing what my colleagues were doing, what my friends who graduated with me were doing. I got a job, I got another job, I worked my way up in these jobs, I got better and better titles, I made incremental raises year over year. And by the time I was in my early mid-30s, I was doing pretty well, at least on paper. I had a really sweet title at a magazine. I got to go to these magazine parties. I made really good money. And from the outside looking in, you would think that I had it all together. But at the same time, I was exhausted. I was depressed. I was miserable, and I was trying to drown my sorrows in alcohol and parties. Why? Because my day life was so uncomfortable and so out of alignment with my gifts, my values, my passions, that I remember going to work in tears and coming home from work exhausted late at night from working too hard in tears again. And so I did what anyone would do in my situation. I said, you know what? The problem is the job. I need to quit and I need to get a new job. So I did that. And guess what? The same exact thing happened, this time just within a few months. And so what I realized is that I was chasing happiness, thinking that it was in a job outside of me. And if I could just find the perfect job, then I would be happy. And what I ended up discovering once I finally quit my job, became an entrepreneur, and repeated the pattern again as an entrepreneur, was that I needed to look inward first. And that's the process I'm going to take you through in this video. We're going to start building the business, building your life, building your career from the inside out. And we're going to look at the steps required to start to reorganize your life so that you are more joyful, more passionate, and you're monetizing the things that bring you joy and passion instead of just your time or your effort. Let's go. Now, before I get to my handy dandy whiteboard, which I know you love and you're waiting for, please take this opportunity to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, maybe even post a comment below about your experience with not monetizing your passion and doing things the other way, the quote unquote wrong way. I'd love to hear from you. Now, just to be clear, I'm going to focus in this video on what it looks like to monetize your passion with your own business, a side hustle, a hobby business, or a full-blown, full-time self-employment operation. But the idea is that this is how you can build something of your own so that you're not dependent on an outside job or employer or boss to pull the puppet strings of your life, okay? So the first step, the first thing that underlies everything else we do is internal alignment. Now, by internal alignment, what I'm talking about is making sure that whatever you create is aligned with who you really are on the inside. So there are a few elements to internal alignment. I'm not going to go deep into them. I'm just going to kind of list them off and run through them. So the first thing about internal alignment is, who are you really? Meaning, at a fundamental level, what's your personality? What do you love to do? What do you hate to do? What are you great at? What are you not so great at? Now, in this thing, the one thing that I'll emphasize is that a lot of times we try to be what we're not. We are told by our parents or by our teachers in the classroom that we should be a certain way that runs counter to our nature. So here in this process, this might take a while, or this might require some deep inner work as you separate out what you've been taught and what you've been socialized to from who you really are, and getting back to that natural internal nature. You want to look at things like your personality. That's why I use so much personality testing with my clients. Look at your upbringing. Look at the stories that you have, your values, what matters to you, what your purpose is, what's your spiritual belief system, right? Is there something greater than you that you're on this planet to do? If so, it'd be a really good idea to align your business and whatever you create in the world with that. Now, the second thing you want to look at is lifestyle. How do you want to live your life? What is it that you see for yourself? Do you want to travel a lot? Do you not want to travel a lot? Do you want to be able to be home with your family? Do you want to work very short hours? Maybe you only want to work from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, or maybe you only want to work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or maybe you love to work, and we'll talk about this in a moment. But looking at what is the lifestyle, meaning how do you want to spend your time, and what kind of money do you need to make? And also, who do you want to spend your time with? Time, money, and people are kind of the three big categories that I look at when I'm looking at with somebody at what kind of lifestyle do you want to lead. Now, the third thing to consider is your business model. Your business model is the mechanism by which you turn your magic into money. This is what kind of inputs, what kind of efforts, time, energy, attention, resources you put into the business, and then how you turn that into something of value for the market to create money on the other side. So what's the model? Are you going to be producing something? Are you going to be providing advice to people? Are you going to be coaching people? Are you going to be selling products, selling information services, selling professional services? You're going to build some sort of platform? Are you going to buy real estate and rent it out, get Airbnbs going? Whatever the model is, you want to make sure that it's something that aligns with how you enjoy spending your time. So for example, when I started my business and I let go of that last job and I decided to do what I thought was my dream, I put myself in a situation where I was spending all my time behind a computer sending proposals. Now, I wanted to be a speaker. I loved consulting, but I was spending more time landing the speaking business and the consulting business than actually doing what I loved. So the model was kind of a mismatch, the way I was doing it anyway, for my true personality. All right, so you want to look at, is this model a fit for you? The fourth thing to consider is your brand. Your brand is what attracts people to you. It's your thought leadership. It's your mission. It's your internal alignment. It's your personality and who you are, that's in a way that's expressed in the world. So it could look like a lot of different things. Your brand is both your mission statement and also your logo. It's your website. It's the description on your LinkedIn profile. It's all of the things that represent you in the world. And generally, your brand is something you do once or every few years, but you don't ongoingly recreate your brand, because a brand requires stability and consistency to work. Now, the fifth thing that you'll want to look at is marketing. Marketing is kind of similar to branding, and sometimes people have a little trouble separating the two. But I look at marketing as the ongoing expression of your brand in the world, day in and day out. When you create the brand once, that's the persona. The marketing is how that persona shows up. Is it through email? Is it through blogging? Is it through YouTube, through social media? Something that's ongoing. And the key to marketing is that it be something that's happening over time. You don't do marketing once like you do branding, right? You don't just put something out there and say, okay, I'm done, I did marketing, right? Marketing is an ing for a reason. It's an ongoing thing that you're doing. And one of the keys to marketing is to, again, make sure that it's aligned with who you really are and your personality. Make sure that it fits into your lifestyle. Make sure that it drives leads properly into the business model. Make sure that it represents your brand. So like all of these things get to be in alignment with each other. The sixth thing to look at as you're monetizing your passion is sales. Sales is an area where people sometimes get stuck, especially if what they're selling is themselves. I know I ran into this when I was just starting my own business. I struggled with selling myself. I struggled with selling the promise of me. And so sales is both a skill to master and it's also a process to figure out. What is the journey that you're going to take people on to get them from just meeting you for the first time all the way to potentially buying something from you? And it requires leadership. I would say one of the biggest things that you can do when you're trying to master sales and do it in a way that's aligned with who you really are. By the way, I have a lot of videos on how to master the art of sales. So if you want to check some of those out, I'll link to my playlist below all about how to do discovery calls and strategy sessions and things like that. But finish this video first because there's one more thing that you're really going to want to know, and it's related to the scaling of your business. The last and final piece that allows you to scale your business is your operations. Now, you could keep this part light. If you just want a little business, if what's aligned with you is just a little something to keep you going, or to get to a certain point, but that's not this huge thing, then you don't need to do that much here. Operations is all about, it's the glue that holds your business together. It's the systems and standard operating procedures and processes that streamline your business, that get things going quicker, that smooth things out, and that make things easier for you and also for the people you serve. Now, your operations is something you might want to invest in. You might want to hire an assistant or hire a team of people to start supporting you. And this is the key in order to be able to scale a business. You've got to stabilize operations. Now, one thing I want to point out is that all of these things, they do happen building on each other, and they also happen all at the same time. You're always cultivating your brand. You're always doing your marketing. You're always optimizing sales. And that's part of operations, is to build in the improvement processes, the check-in points, so that you're constantly improving and even further aligning the business with who you really are. That's it for how to monetize your passion. If you're looking to create a business and a life that aligns with who you really are and is joyful, energy rich, and profitable and lucrative, then go download my Monetize Your Magic playbook. You can get that at monetizeyourmagicplaybook.com or just click on the link below. See you soon.